The resurrection of Jesus is definitely the most significant event in Christian history. Dozens of apologists, including Lee Strobel, Josh McDowell, and William Lane Craig, often refer to the empty tomb as evidence for the truth of their faith. James Cameron may think he's found Christ's tomb, but nothing except criticism has been given to his theory, and it is lacking indeed in any substantial evidence. Tomb or no tomb, though, the story of the resurrection in the Bible is still problematic in and of itself. Can you recall who first went to Jesus' tomb? If you said Mary Magdalene, you are correct, but you also forgot some other women who appear in specific Gospels. Matthew, for example, says that Mary Magdalene was accompanied by the other Mary. Mark tells us she was joined by Mary, the mother of James, and a woman named Salome. Luke describes there being Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Joanna, in addition to others with them. Finally, the Gospel of John only puts Mary Magdalene at the scene first, with no companions. Some apologists have tried to argue that there is no issue here, and the Gospels each separately identify all the women who were actually at the tomb. In other words, if you add them all together, that's probably the truth. In 1 Corinthians 15:3-8, Paul doesn't mention that any women discovered the tomb. He says that Peter was the first person Jesus appeared to after he rose from the dead. However you try to reconcile the differences in the texts, it is clear that at least one author is not giving the full story. Moving on, what happened next, and who did these people find at the tomb when they arrived? Matthew specifically says that the women met an angel of the Lord, who rolled away the stone in front of them and then sat on it. Mark says that the women came to find the stone already rolled away, and a young man dressed in a white robe who was sitting inside the tomb. Luke describes a similar encounter, but with two men in bright clothes appearing suddenly in the tomb, standing next to the women. In John, though, Mary Magdalene sees the stone rolled away and immediately runs back to tell the disciples, not meeting any angel or strange man at the site herself. Following their encounters, each gospel again tells a different story of what happens. Matthew has Jesus appear to Mary and her friends while they are on their way to inform the disciples of the empty tomb. Mark's gospel ends with the women fleeing and telling no one, because the original ending has been lost and the one in some Bibles today is not found in the earliest copies. In Luke, the women tell the disciples and are not believed by anyone except for Peter, who goes to the tomb, finds the linens, and walks away, wondering to himself what had happened. John says that after Mary runs and tells the disciples, they accompany her back to the tomb, but find no one there. Only after the others leave is Mary visited by Jesus and two angels. Why couldn't these authors keep their stories straight? Maybe it's because none of the women have given their testimonies, and they were allegedly the first ones to witness the resurrection in the empty tomb. Instead, we have the books of Mark and Luke, written by men who were not eyewitnesses to any of the gospel events, and we have the books of Matthew and John, which are suspected to be misnamed by most scholars today, and would probably therefore not be the work of eyewitnesses either. In short, hearsay is what we have from the resurrection accounts given in the four Gospels. They are not historical records in any sense, but it should be obvious that they don't even really intend to be, as their focus is on theology and religious philosophy, not on historical accuracy. If you'd like to learn more about the four Gospels and the questionable reliability of the Bible in general, I suggest you check out an article I recently wrote for Godless Haven, titled "The Authorship and Alteration of the Bible."